Hey, what's up guys? Quick heads up for this video. We are diving into solar and we are diving in deep. There is a lot of talking, and that is because there is a lot of nuance to this stuff. I'm doing my best to share all the information I have with you here. I am putting chapter markers in the description, so if there's stuff that you're really not interested in, you can skip around and get to that content that you want to see. Otherwise, let's jump into it. Morning. Solar install day. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. So the original intention was to do solar on the roof here when we did the main renovation of the stone house. Couldn't make it work for the budget. Certainly couldn't make it work from a timing perspective with the wedding. That was fast approaching. Took a little bit of extra time, made some more money, got it back in the bank. A few short years later, we're here and we're doing our solar project. Ultimately, I'm very happy we waited. Probably the biggest reason was because it was going to be a much smaller system. And in speaking with the guys at Venture Solar, we'll get into more about who they are and what they do in a minute. They ran a bunch of different reports for me, showed what was possible here. And ultimately, the system is, I think, double the size of what, double the size. I was going to do an 8 kW system. This is a 16 kW system. So that's for kilowatts, peak generation, the maximum when the sun is at the perfect angle, at the perfect time of day, how much power you can generate. But here's the thing that the other company I was talking to was not explaining to me, and that is what you want to look at is your power usage over the year and how best to try and get to a $0 bill across 12 months. So in order to do that, you review your bills, your history, which now I have because we've been here for a couple of years. What the guys at Venture did was they looked at our usage and they planned for maybe, adding some additional items to the house, future expansion, electrifying maybe more things that we have. And then they look at the angle of the sun, the amount of sun, where your roof planes are facing, and how much sun you're going to get, not only in the summer when the sun's nice and high in the sky, but also in the winter when it's much lower, gets blocked by some trees, we've got sun up in the air for less hours in the day. And they say, well, if you do a system of this size, you're going to generate more than you need in the summertime. That spins your meter backwards. You're creating more power than you're using. And then in the wintertime, your meter is going to spin forward. You're going to use more power in the house than you're able to create, given the constraints we just talked about. But what that should do is over a 12-month period is net you to a $0 bill. So that is exactly what we did. These guys are going to be here in about an hour or two. We're going to get the install started, and we'll go from there. We'll walk through each part of the process. In the meantime, let's hop inside. We'll get on the laptop, and I'll show you what we did through the planning process with these guys. All right. So, how did we get started with Venture Solar? I did a bunch of research. These guys had a ton of great customer reviews, so I reached out and started talking to them. One of the biggest reasons I went with Venture, outside of the fact that they had great reviews, is that they not only sell you the system, they install the system. So one of the big things you may or may not be aware of in the solar industry is that a lot of these solar companies that are advertising to you on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, they're really a sales and marketing company. And then what they do when it's time for install is they go and hire a third party, or they have a list of third party installers in your area. I'm not saying this doesn't work. I'm not saying it's not a good way to do business. But typically speaking, what I try and do is hire a company that is full service. And I do that for one very specific reason. When there's a problem, because ultimately at some point there will be a problem. These are mechanical things. They do fail. They will fail over time. I want to have one point of contact. I don't want to have the guy who sold me the system and the guy who installed the system going like this. I've made this point before with Windows. It's why I'm such a big fan of working with Renewable by Anderson. The manufacturer, well, in this case, they're not the manufacturer of the solar panel, right? But they're the supplier of the solar panel, and they're the installer of the solar panel. and they're doing everything from start to finish in this process that we're going to walk through right here. So sales process, they send somebody out, they take you through their entire process, you know, what to expect as you go through this. So, you know, they're going to do a shade report for you. So you know, they have your address obviously from showing up at your house. They use a Google Maps image. They take some images around the home so that you know, they can capture anything it is that they need to look at. Typically, they're taking pictures of your electric box, you know, the eaves of your roof, the overhang, you know, the height off the ground, angle, pitch of the roof. All these things are important that go into this shade report that they're ultimately going to create. So the shade report, which I have on my screen here and we'll put up for you, is an application called the Aurora Shade Report. So basically what that does is you use Google Maps to place your home. It's got all the different roof pitches on it at the proper angles, and then they're also able to place height of the trees around your home, and uses a 3D model via LiDAR, and it tells you exactly how efficient your solar system's going to be. So what you're looking for, there's this annual TSRF score or percentage. The number in the bottom right-hand side of that table, it's the weighted average by panel count. You want that number to be over a 60. If that number is over 60%, as I'm told, it makes sense to get solar, meaning the money you're going to invest in the system, the panels, the install, the whole shebang, ultimately will net you out more power and create more energy for you, thereby reducing your bill to the utility, that it does make sense financially for you to put solar on the house. So my score is a 73.1 based on 58 panels. And I think I made a mistake, but, well, I didn't make a mistake. There's just a bit of a nuance here. So while the AC size of the system is a 16 kW system, the solar annual production ability of my system is 22.1 kW, or kilowatt hours, excuse me. So I can produce 22,117 kilowatt hours of electricity annually. The DC size of the system, the direct current, is 23.2 kW. The AC size of the system is 16.82 kW. For anybody who likes the numbers and likes to get into the sizing of these systems. So the Venture Solar guys walk you through all that. They make sure you understand everything based on the shade report and the number of panels. They're now able to give you a price. I should say, they also do sell battery backups. I did not go with that yet. I have the Kohler full home backup generator on the property. And in talking with the folks over there, and this is something that I really appreciated about them, they didn't try and upsell me on the batteries. I let them know the kind of the situation I have up here. I've let them know that I've had multi-day outages and the weather is really bad. And they were asking the probing questions. When the power was out for multiple days, was it sunny? You know, what would sun be hitting your roof? I was like, I mean, sometimes yes, but a lot of times no. It was a really bad storm that, you know, the 2 years ago. So they said, look, here's the deal. Battery technology, like, can we put enough batteries in your basement to make sure you're protected? Sure. It's going to be cost prohibitive for you in order to do what your propane, your whole home backup generator does, what that propane generator does. They said, you know, we believe the battery technology is coming. They're making improvements every day. But given that you have the generator on site already, it's already hooked up to your whole home, what we recommend doing is installing the solar and then, you know, keeping an eye on battery technology. And as it gets better, more efficient, and less expensive, then adding that to your system at a later date. So that's basically the way I went about it. I appreciated their honesty there because I was considering it, but when I saw the numbers, I mean, it's pricey. You know, for 3 batteries, I think it was about $40,000 increase in the price, and those 3 batteries would be able to run my home for 24 hours uninterrupted if there was no sun. If I got sun during the days when the power was out, it could run the home for up to a week. But if you don't get that sun, you're maxed out at 24 hours. And I said, yeah, I can't take that chance. So I appreciated them walking me through all that, talking through the nuances of it, and ensuring that my home, that my asset was protected here. Once I signed off on the project, these guys went to work. And when I say went to work, I mean, I didn't do anything. I think all total, it took 2.5, maybe 3 months to get fully permitted. So all of that Venture handles for you. So yeah, they're on their way up here to start today. What I've been told is it's a 2-day install, and we'll dive into that with the on-site crew, make sure we understand everything here. Yeah, and that's about it. So if you have questions on this stuff, drop them in the comments, and I will get back to you on anything I don't cover here. Other than that, come along for the ride. We are diving into solar install. All right, so these guys are already rocking and rolling. So walk through everything with the guys. Basically, first thing that happens is they get all the clips up on the roof. So I've got a metal roof. They've got a clipping system for each type of roof. So whether it's a flat roof, standard shingle, pitched roof, and of course you got specialty clips for a metal roof. So nice thing, and I just learned this, 0 penetrations through the roof whatsoever. And they come around the side of the eave of the overhang with a piece of conduit, and they do it in the back of the house in an area that is not visible. So I'm absolutely thrilled about that. The other thing that we were talking through is that my electrical meter is far away from the house. I did that on purpose because I didn't want the electric pole in the center of the backyard like it used to be. If you followed me along for the build series when we were renovating this house, you saw me move that electric pole. At that time, I ran an empty conduit with a pull string in it because I knew at some point I was going to be adding something to this house. Well, it happens to be solar, and these guys are super thrilled that they don't have to dig a trench all the way to the basement of my house. So that is already there. They're going to be able to utilize that to pull the solar wire through that existing conduit, and they're going to mount their disconnect on the back side of the automatic transfer switch for the generator. So I'm still able to keep all my mechanicals way off in the corner of the yard. There's going to be nothing unsightly that is going to be on the house at all. Really, there's not going to be too much visually happening until either later today or tomorrow when all the panels go on the roof. That's when you're going to see those big black slabs of glass going up, which are the panels themselves. Speaking of black, I went with the triple black panels. We used the panels from Envoy. Really great warranty, really great efficiency on those panels. It's what they recommended that I use. These guys do install the Tesla panels as well. They do install the Tesla battery backups as well. But Enphase at the end of the day seemed like it was a smarter move based on the information these guys were giving me. So panels will start going up later today. Basically, they're just getting all the prep work done, so it's nice and easy. It's like anything. Get the layout right, and then every other step that follows after that is that much easier. So really like that they rolled in with three full vans, full crew. They've got a foreman. Everybody knows their job. They're organized. They're doing neat work. So far so good. So now this box is what all the micro inverters come into this?
So over here we're gonna have 20 amp breakers. So all the strings from the solar, they're gonna come down here, okay? And then this plastic box right here, this is where we're gonna put the Envoy.
Okay.
Because, so normally we put a combiner, but on the combiner, you're only allowed to put 4 strings.
Okay.
So here, since we have 58 panels, we have to have 5 strings.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm basically making my own combiner.
Gotcha. Oh, panels coming off the truck. Ew. Triple black. So they had 2 pallets worth of panels with them today. Got them unloaded. When they're back tomorrow morning, rest of the panels, rest of the rail system. They finish up the brackets and the rails, and then panels go on and all the wiring starts to happen. And then that's it. Then we're just waiting on inspections. Get this thing live. Day 2, back at it. So, guys are getting all the rails up on the roof. So, the way this process has worked is, because I have a metal roof, first the clips go down. So that's what took a ton of time yesterday. Flying through the rails already this morning. These guys have been up here about 20 minutes, half hour, and they're halfway done already. So we're gonna be at solar panels next to no time. It'll be solar panels, all the micro inverters will get hooked up to that. And then the other thing they did yesterday that we can take a peek at over here is they got the power box on the outside of the home. So, so you can see the conduit that comes down from the roof right here. So that's where the power will come from the micro inverters. Not exactly sure how this works, but these guys are. Comes into that box, and then we'll come into the basement there, and that's where it'll tie into my my main sub panel in the basement. So really interesting process. But the main visuals, that's today. All the panels will be up. Really pumped to see these things start going on the roof. All right, so took a little trip up on the roof here. Let's take a look at the exact components so you can see each of the different parts. So these are the feet that I'm talking about. These get screwed to the elevated portion of the metal panel. So these screws are short, but they're super sturdy. So this is touching the actual sheathing that's on the roof. This is elevated. This is what lets airflow through. So there is nothing that is penetrating the roof. So if any water were to get through here, it just runs down and drains out the bottom of the roof. The rails are right here, what I'm grabbing. So this is bolted through this L bracket right here. So this L bracket is attached to this foot. You can see it right here. It's all one piece. And then the vertical part of the L bracket gets a bolt, slid through the channel, nut goes on, and that all gets tightened up. And then the last part you can see on the top of this channel, there's a groove. So the nuts get slid in at the end, and then the panels get bolted to, the solar panels get bolted to these rails. And you can see they use the yellow chalk pen to lay out where all the different panels go through the roof. So that's a little closer look at the few components that go into the mounting part of your solar system. So just give me a little bit of like high level how the process works now that the rails are on the clips.
Okay, so once the rails are on the clips, we technically the L feet. So once they're on the actual bracket itself,
okay.
Now we put the inverters on. So so the inverters are the brain of the actual panel itself.
Okay.
So then once that's on, then we just pretty much link up a wire to each one. So depending on the count of the strings, we could go up to about 13.
Okay.
So he's gonna connect each wire to about 13 inverters, and then that's gonna be one particular string by itself.
Okay.
And then that gets sent through the pipe, get downstairs. That's a home run. So
that goes into the box,
yes,
and then goes into the basement.
Yes.
Okay.
So pretty much we'll have about 2 home runs from this array by itself, and then we'll have about 2 coming from up there, 2 from the back, and it's all gonna come to that one box.
Awesome. So The inverter is what, quote unquote, plugs into the panel
Yes.
and converts the sun into electricity.
Yes. Well, it converts the AC to DC.
Okay.
DC to AC, I'm sorry.
DC to AC.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
So
So direct current is sun hitting the panel.
Yes.
Inverter changes it to alternating current, and then that makes it so it's useful to your home.
Yes.
So it was kind of explained to me, even though these wires like hook one to the other and then the home run goes down, even if a single panel in that chain goes down, all the other panels still keep working.
That's the beauty of having those inverters.
So that's what each so an inverter on each panel makes it so that each panel operates independently, even though it's connected to a chain.
Yes.
Got it.
The
So you don't have the
old-fashioned
Christmas
way.
lights effect.
Exactly what I was going to say.
He's much better at explaining it than I am. So there we go. We got it from the knowledgeable guy. Oh yeah, panels going on the roof. So they've been putting panels up on a roof for a good minute now. We're doing the upper pitch first, both sides. There's a ton of panels up there. Then they're gonna drop down to the lower sections of the roof, get all those panels hooked into the rails. And then that's it. Then we're just waiting on inspections, get this thing live. All right, so let's wrap it up. Final thoughts on this entire solar process. My system is on, it is operational, and it is producing not a little bit of power, it's producing a ton of power. Very, very excited overall by the net results of this whole thing. So we left off with the Venture Solar guys finishing their install. So let's walk through the remainder of the process. After the Venture Solar guys are done, they submit paperwork for 2 inspections. You need 2 inspections before you're permitted to make your system operational. First inspection is an electrical inspection. So up in the Catskills by me, that's an independent third party that you hire at your own expense. And by your own, that is an expense that's covered by Venture. So didn't have to come out of pocket for that. Electrical inspector passed the inspection, and then they take that electrical inspector's passing sticker along with a lot of other documentation that I do not know the nuances of that they handle for you, and they submit that to your utility. When you submit to the utility does not come out to do an inspection. They review a lot of photos, they review a lot of paperwork and checklists and other things, and what you are waiting for is known as a PTO, permission to operate. So you're not legally permitted to turn your system on until you get that letter. So they submitted that paperwork. They followed up diligently with me, probably sent me an email either every week or every other week letting me know where things stood. Me being a little on the OCD side, I would check in a lot. They never got frustrated. They always sent a pleasant response, let me know where things were at. You, the customer, so in this case me, my email address is also connected to the utility, this case Central Hudson. So I'm getting their automated emails too, which is nice because then Venture doesn't have to reach out. I'm seeing the updates. So once I understood the cadence coming from the utility, you know, I wasn't pushing on them because 1, they'd been diligent through the whole process, and 2, I saw their level of communication as this inspection process was going on. So basically, you're just in a waiting game there. It's a little strange. So as you're stepping through the utility process and waiting for the ultimate PTO, the PTO is the last thing that you get. But while you're waiting for that, you will get certain automated emails that'll let you know the utility's coming out to change your meter. You need a specific meter that is solar ready, I guess would be the term. It needs to be able to spin backwards when you are producing more power than you're using. So the meter knows how to communicate properly with the utility itself. So that happened. Nobody calls you to schedule that. The utility just comes out, they pop the meter out, they pop the new meter in, and you're done. And then, yeah, one day out of the blue, that day is July 24th, I got my PTO letter. So as soon as that happens, the system is able to go live. Now, on the 24th, it didn't show any production, but on the 25th, you see it immediately. It is absolutely awesome. So before I dive into those numbers, I really do have to say, start to finish, Venture did everything I was hoping they were going to do. And one of the things I didn't cover at the top of this video is service. I think it's a foregone conclusion, but I want to just state it out loud. You know, I was talking about using a company who uses a different installer and sales organization and the ability to point to other people. Where Venture comes, they sell you the system, they install the system. Well, they service that system as well. So they are tied into the same app that I have. They send you an automated email that asks you to grant them access. They can do the vast majority of troubleshooting right from their app. They're able to see the microinverters and make sure everything's working. They get real-time alerts, so they know if they need to send someone to your property. But all in all, I gotta say, 5 stars from me across the board. Like I thought they were absolutely awesome. From a power production standpoint, this is the fun stuff. So jumping into on the dailies, you know, you come back here to July 24th. It's all orange is your consumption, and then blue is your production. So you can see 0 produced here. You jump over to the 25th, we've got the first bit of solar starting to be generated. On the 26th, it starts to create that bell curve, which is substantial. And that's really what you want to see. When you have a cloudless day, you're going to see this heavy duty bell curve. So August 1st, you can see this great bell curve. And you can see, actually August 2nd is where I produced the most power so far on the day. That was an absolute baby blue day, sun up to sundown, super long day. And then as you flip over to like weeks or months in the app, you can see just how much more power you're producing than you're consuming, which is awesome. I mean, it's very interesting to be able to see the data in real time and know that you're effectively going to have a $0 bill. So far for the month of August, we're 8 days in here now. I have produced 550 kilowatts of power, and I have consumed 224 kilowatts of power. So that's a net export of 326.6 kilowatts of power. So what does the export mean? So at the beginning of this video, we were talking about battery backups and that I opted out of them. So if you are not storing the power that you are creating, you are exporting that back to the grid. So this is what's known as net zero metering. So that is very much what I went with. I'm not storing any power at my house. I am creating more power than I use in the summertime. I send it to the grid, meter spins backwards. In the wintertime, inevitably, you wind up using more power because less sun, less hours of sun during the day, and your meter spins forward. The ultimate goal being to get to a net $0 bill. So this does not mean that I'm 100% green. It does not mean I'm not pulling power from the grid. I am. I pull power from the grid as soon as the sun goes down. But what I am doing is offsetting my bill and utilizing a substantial amount of the sun's energy to run my home during the day. At some point, I will be upgrading and adding batteries to this system, but for all the reasons I mentioned at the top of this video, it wasn't in the cards for the here and now. What I did not say at the top of this video, and what I should have said, was that in certain circumstances, batteries very much do make sense today, here and now. Given the number of power outages I have upstate and the potential length of those power outages, I did not feel safe nor comfortable risking that entire asset of potential frozen pipes if the power didn't come back on in time. So I opted to not use battery backups. I opted to stay with my propane-powered whole home backup generator that I know is going to kick on, that I know will be able to run for 4, 5, 6, 10 days straight without any issue. I'm going to link 2 other videos down below from creators that I very much respect and appreciate their diligence on their videos. First is MKBHD. He just did the Tesla solar roof tiles, and he did battery backup, so you can get some information from him there. Much like this video, it's on the longer side. I mean, that video runs about 30 minutes. There's no short way to explain solar. There is a lot of nuance here. The other creator is Matt Farrell. He's got the Undecided channel. He does really great deep dive content as well. So both of those videos are linked in the description if you wanna continue gathering solar information. But all in all, I am beyond thrilled with the system. It's exciting to watch the app. It's exciting to watch the power being produced. You can see in real time how much of the sun's energy you're using, how much you're exporting back to the grid. So it's been really great. Huge thank you to the Venture Solar guys. Very, very impressed with their service, as I've stated a few times now here in the video. If you are in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, they have officially launched in Maine now. I highly recommend checking them out. Link to those guys are in the description as well. And you can rest assured I will definitely be doing a follow-up video to this one. I want to give this system a solid 12 months to collect a full year of data, so that I can come back here, you know, in August of 2024 and say I had a $0 bill for that entire year, or maybe I didn't. To be determined, but we'll see where that nets out. Guys, thanks for hanging with me on this one. I really appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one.